All right, Dr. Feroli, we are live. Are you ready to kick this thing off?
I am ready. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for tuning
Let's.
in. Thanks for inviting me.
All right, let's do it.
KTTV, giving you what you need. Motivation, education unleashed. H-Town representing, we forever keep it rolling. Join the conversation with inspirational stories. Thought-provoking, feel that energy. Kendrick Thomas aiming to lift the community. True indeed, tune in, come and see. Giving you what you need. KTTV, let's go. KTTV.
What to do, KTTV? This is KT, and I'm coming at you live with another episode of Education Unleashed. And on tonight's episode, I have the brand new Dr. Kimberly Feroli. How you doing tonight, Doc?
I am fabulous. I'm happy to be here. Like you said, yes, just defending my dissertation. I'm super excited about that and ready to rock and roll.
Ready to rock and roll. Well, once again, congratulations on that. We talking like what, less than 24 hours or maybe more than 30, no more than 36 hours.
Right.
Fresh off the ink. So
yesterday at 5:30.
Woo! Yeah. So look, we pushing a good 24. So before we get started, I want to just do a check-in and say, how have you been doing? And leading up to that defense, how did you stay sane?
Yeah, so that was like a 6-year process. During that time, we had COVID, we had lots of different learning shifts in our communities. We had people moving all over the place. To stay focused, I think that you had to have, well, for me, I had to have a support system. I had to have a goal. I had to have some drive, and I had to have some perseverance because I did have a choice, and my choice was to quit or my choice was to keep going, and I decided to keep going. So I'm very proud of it. As a teacher, I also want to model that for my students, especially I teach the upper grade, secondary, 11th grade. And at this stage of their educational journey, they're tired. They just sometimes are like, you know what, I'm done. But I shared with them my personal journey, my obstacles. I keep it real with them. I let them know what I do to keep going and try to encourage them to keep going as well.
Yeah, most definitely. I started out high school. I was a football track coach, and I did my internship. So I love being in that high school atmosphere, being able to have those conversations with those kids, because that is the time that you have to kind of get out that motivation. I did a news article a few weeks ago, and it talked about how the engagement was like 58% in elementary, like kids, school. Those same kids that they followed to high school, it maybe dropped off to like 20-25%. So like you say, that's when that parent involvement lessens. So that kid has to be almost intrinsically motivated or have somebody like you to keep putting it in their face.
So one of the things that I did that's a little unconventional, but I think it got the point across. One day I took my kids out to the track and I was like, come on, we're walking this track. And they're like, Miss, we don't want to walk the track. It's hot. This ain't PE, all the things, right? I said, no, I have a point. So we walk the track. We get almost to the finish line. I said, okay, I want you to stop. You're done. They're like, no, miss, I'm almost at the finish line. Why are you having us stop? I said, because that's how it is in education. When you want to quit and you're so close, you cannot. So we all lined up and I said, we're all going to walk across this finish line together. That's your graduation. So I think that they needed to see it. They needed to feel it. And then they ended up graduating. So sometimes it is those unconventional things that teachers do to keep our students motivated, to drive home the message that it's not time to give up. It's time to push forward. And that was something fun that we did.
Yeah, that is awesome. Like you say, always tying it to real life and giving them those visuals that they can see. So big shouts out to you, Dr. Kimberly Feroli.
Thank you.
All right. So, all right. Tonight, you all, of course, we have our segments. We have our parent teacher corner. We have our educator spotlight. But right now, I want to get into a little bit of this educational news. Let's do it. To find one story that was very eye-opening, that really piqued my interest. And so you may appreciate this one, Doc. It says, and courtesy of Ed Week, an unorthodox plan to pay students to write curriculum is raising achievement. And so this lady named Kate Maxlow, she is a teacher in the, let's see here, Hampton City Schools, Virginia, Eastern Coast. And so what's going on is she's a curriculum specialist, but what she did was she brought in kids they got a grant, and she brought in kids from the high school because she's in elementary. And so what they're doing is she pays the kids up to $19 an hour to be able to come in and give feedback on the curriculum. Let's see what else she say. So she began to overhaul the district curriculum in 2016 to address the lagging student achievement. She said half of the roughly 20,000 students are economically disadvantaged. So she realized that student engagement and student voice needed to be a central part of the work. And so after 7 years and hundreds of man hours later, Hampton City has curricula designed with significant student input and classrooms full of activities students hate to miss out on. And so what she does is each year, 15 students are chosen for a 3-week internship to provide feedback, insight, and sometimes lends a hand in crafting classroom materials. Some continue the work even after the school year has begun. In return, they are paid at least $19 an hour, and they have a unique experience to add to their resumes. And so they said some of the work that the interns have done is film videos for elementary schools, explaining and demonstrating math games, including one that asks students to put numbered cards and pairs to add up to 10. They've written passages explaining tricky concepts to younger children in terms that can be easily understood. We know how important that is, such as illustrating differences between goods and services in the context of a Build-A-Bear workshop. They've also suggested books that they've enjoyed to relate the topic to the curriculum. And so one of the quotes that she said, well, these students are really doing a great job. They're doing innovative things that we probably wouldn't have thought about or done without them. And so she said, I wanted my classroom to be the kind of place that was fully engaging for students. Even when I was teaching, I really wanted to push the bounds of what school could be. And I wanted to be more like a home than a factory. That was deep. So what's your thoughts on paying kids to come in and kind of do a little bit of that curriculum when you put on your instructional coach hat?
First, I want to say kudos to that teacher, because who else has thought of that? That's an out-of-the-box solution, and she was brave enough to bring that into the classroom. I know that our students teach us things every single day. They teach us how to do like the technologies that we may not be aware of. So why not let them come in with another lens, another eye to see what's working, what's not working. There's a learning pyramid by David Sousa, and students retain 90% of what they learn within 24 hours by teaching each other. And if we're wanting students to learn and to retain that information, she's met the goal. So kudos to that teacher.
Most definitely. Like you say, you got to be ground level, especially as things are changing. I remember seeing a commercial and they talked about all of the things in our world that has changed over the years. And then they came to a classroom and they said, like, classroom in the 1800s, classroom in the 2000s, still looks the same. But it's innovative things like that that really turned the needle and really moved the needle, of what's happening in the classroom, because our kids are so different. And so being able to have someone who can really come in and help and kind of put us on that wavelength of what our new younger generation is thinking is powerful. So I just thought that was an awesome story. Yeah, what'd you say?
It's also like a partnership. So the kids begin to build that trust with the teachers, and then the teachers begin to build the trust with the students, and then they can collaborate with one another. Just recently, I had one of my students show me all the fun things that my Apple Watch does. And now she's like so eager to show me more. And I think that's a wonderful opportunity for our students to shine and for the collaboration to take place for our students to also grow. So that's a wonderful idea. Maybe I'm going to take that back to my district as well.
Yeah, look, that's what we try to do here. Just bring stuff so we can just have people just try this. Maybe it'll change something in the schoolhouse. So awesome work. I just wanted to share that. That is it for the news. Now, what we'll do, take a quick break, and when we get back, we are going to first talk about a little bit more of what the dissertation was about, because I've seen the title and it is very engaging. But then let's get into some more of, I guess, getting into the leadership and moving the needle inside of the classroom. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back with Dr. Kimberly Feroli. All right, y'all. If you have not, head to kttv.com. We got merch, we got books, we got everything. So just make sure you get there. Now, this time. Once again, big shouts out to Dr. Kim. Dr. Kim, I guess as we get into this conversation tonight, I want to kind of touch a little bit more on the defense of the dissertation, and just kind of talk about that for a second. So can you give us your topic for the dissertation, and then what made you choose that topic?
Yes. So I chose secondary teacher perceptions on school culture and the impact that school culture has on student achievement. Because I'm a big believer that school culture plays a role in student learning and also teacher retention. So the research that I was able to conduct was in the Florida district, and some of the results were pretty interesting. The number one factor that I was able to find for school culture is the leadership style of the principal. And the number one leadership style that had the greatest impact was transformational leader. And the transformational leader is encouraging. They have great ideas. They come in and they support the students and they support the teachers. And as a result, the school culture increases and the student achievement increases. So I really enjoyed this journey. I've been teaching since, you want to guess how long?
Well, it's kind of cheating. We talked about, like, I was backstage.
I've been teaching since 2003, and I've had the opportunity to work with all kinds of leaders. And so during my research, I was able to see, oh, this was the style that I worked for, or this was the style that I worked for. And I can recall the schools that were the most successful were the ones that were led by transformational leaders. And that's something that my research was also able to prove. So that's that.
Congratulations again, Doc. Awesome information. And is it online or somewhere already?
Yes. So we are in the process of getting it published. I'll be a Google Scholar. Super excited about that. It'll also be in the ProQuest search. So that's something that's coming up probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yes. Okay. So now jumping into more of our questions for tonight. Teaching since 2003. Right. So you think about the work you're doing in the classroom, front line, and then you go into educational leadership. You say, I want to get a master's in ed leadership. God bless you. And so then you head on to the doctorate. So what inspired you to even pursue that career and come out of the classroom into ed administration and leadership?
So there's a couple things that inspired me, but there's somebody, her name is Principal Patterson, Shanavia Patterson. She really pushed me, and she is primarily focuses on women leadership, and she just got me. She was able to push me to the next level, help me to get into the instructional coach position, and gave me the tools that I needed to move forward. Once I linked up with her, I was like, I can do this. This is something that is in me. I know that I can make a bigger impact. Let me take my expertise outside of the classroom and into the school. And that's something that I was able to do. So I'm very happy with going into the educational leadership track. And then after that, I went into the doctorate track. I do want to share a little bit about the reason as to why I have pushed myself that far. Is that okay?
Yes,
okay. So my mom dropped out of high school in 11th grade. And as a result, I decided to become a teacher in the 11th grade. So she sacrificed her education, her high school experience, and my way of honoring her is through my education. So I finished my high school, I finished my college, my master's, and then my doctorate. And I dedicated that to her and her sacrifices. I share that story with my students because I want them to know no matter what they're going through, they have someone like me on their side, and I will be there to push them past that finish line. So that's something my mom did not have. And so as a result, that's something that I try to give back.
Yeah, most definitely. I can just see you now. You seem like that teacher who all the kids, you got to shoo them away when the bell rings. Like, you got to go to class. You can't sit here and talk to me all this time, but they just want to come. Can I come on lunch, miss? All of that type of stuff.
Yeah. So sometimes there are students just sitting in the hallway, like randomly. So I'll just go grab my lunch and I'll just go sit next to them. And I'm like, what's your name? And so I've built so many relationships that way by seeking out the students that are hiding in the cracks and the crevices, and then giving them a voice and letting them know that they matter, and just sitting down and eating lunch with them. Something as simple as that. That's something that I feel like builds school culture as well.
Most definitely. Now, when you think about student success, I guess we'll start inside of the school, inside of the classroom, and then work our way back out with some of your other experiences. So in your experience, because I want people to be able tonight after the show to take some of the strategies, some of the things you're doing, because we're in Texas. And I got ties to Louisiana, so maybe it's a little different down in Florida. So then can you give us some of the most effective strategies that you've implemented since 2003 over the years that lead to student success in your district?
Yeah. So the biggest thing I feel like with anybody is you have to meet them where they are. So if I'm wanting to have a student go from like a 6th grade reading level to an 11th grade reading level, I need to meet that student at that 6th grade level and then close the gap. Creating a supporting environment where the students feel safe, that they want to come to my room. One of the things I have in my room, which may seem kind of silly, but it's a mirror. And I have students walk past my room that I don't even know. And then they look in the mirror and they're like, oh, hey, miss. And it's every day. And every day they end up coming back and building that relationship. And a mirror does that. Recognizing individual students, celebrating them, making a big deal out of the small achievements, celebrating their birthdays, having little Valentine's Day parties, whatever it takes to make those students feel like, you know what, I can come into this room, I can relax, and I can learn. I can be myself. She accepts me for who I am. And that's what I would want to tell every teacher. Just make sure that your environment that you're creating is, we can't control the world, but we can control our world. So control the world that you have and make it a positive one. And that's something that I try to do every single day.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, one thing that I think about when it comes to, I think you said when you talked about the 6th grade to 11th grade reading level, a lot of the times we have students who may come in 4th grade, 5th grade. How do you work with the teachers in the instructional coach role? Because, when you think about the things that happen in elementary to move those students and those groups and all those pieces, how do you help teachers develop those skills to move those students when they come at such low levels sometimes?
There are programs that each district has to help with those students. The thing that I always go back to the very basics. If we're going to read something, I want to know, do you know who, what, when, where, and why? I want to know that you know those things. And if you know those things, then we can build on that. So sometimes they'll get lost in all the words. And it's like, no, we're going to chunk this text. We're going to take, so for example, 3 paragraphs. Let's read 3 paragraphs. Now answer those who questions. Who was it? What was it? When? And then they start to kind of get it. But one of the things that I love doing with reading is making it relevant. So I have a friend, his name is Jonathan Moody. He wrote a book called Olympic Butter Gold. He ended up flying from Texas into Florida, and we bought copies of the book for all of the students. He read some of his poetry. The students wrote some of their poetry, and we merged the two together. And so bringing that text alive, meeting the author, making it relevant, has helped the students learn to read a little bit better too, because they need to be interested in it. We are in a standardized reading environment. What can we do to support our students with the standardized reading, but also make them want to read? So engaging them with authors, with texts that matter, with things that are relevant has helped.
Yes. Now, Reading Teacher of the Year, as we talk about Reading Teacher. So how has being the Reading Teacher of the Year influenced your teaching philosophy? And discuss a little bit about that experience. I was able to look at a few. I guess you all just had a teacher ceremony this year, and so you were honored at that as well.
Yes. So I was the 2024 finalist. There are over 13,000 teachers, and I was in the top 5 recognized from my peers. Our peers are the ones that elected us, and that was really exciting to be able to go and enjoy the company of such fine educators in our district. That was such an honor. I also won Reading Teacher of the Year. And I think my philosophy on that, and I've kind of always lived by this, is if I don't enjoy teaching, if I don't have fun teaching, my students won't enjoy the learning and they won't have fun learning. So I always try to make sure that whatever I do, I put my effort into it so that they put their effort into it. One of my favorite authors is Nora Zell Hurston, and we read Their Eyes Were Watching God. Instead of just reading it, we decided to have a Harlem Renaissance Day. So the students cooked, they brought in their instruments, they shared their talent. That was something that I was able to do to make the book relevant to their lives. And it was something that they'll remember for the rest of their life. So reading is more than just words on a page. It's also a lifestyle, and it's something that I try to bring into the classroom.
Most definitely. Let's see here. Shout out to Sharika, just a heart. Thank you so much for tuning in, Sharika. And look, we got to get Bryce in the building. All right, so what we'll do, let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, I want to talk to more about the population, right? How are we setting up inclusive and diverse environments? But then also talking about how do you support future SPED kids down in your district. So take a break. We will be right back.
See the drip, yeah, I fit it up. Hop in my car and I get it up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I fit it up. Hop in my car and
big shouts out to everybody. Once again, kdtv.com. Look, this is my book. A pencil is the least of my worries. If you have not went and got that, make sure that you go to the website and get that. I wrote, look, this is my first self-published book, Dr. Kim. I wrote this thinking about the population. I was working in a school and it was 98% other than African-American. It was about 78% African-American population. And so then I said, how do I build the bridge to lower the sympathy, raise the empathy? And so that is one of the things that I did with that book, wrote the book. And also I got the workbook because I want teachers to be able to write inside of this as they reflect on what's going on in their classes. And so that is the big segue into this. So when you're thinking about creating inclusive learning environments that cater to diverse student populations, what is your approach to that inside of the classroom? But also as you step out of that classroom and put that instructional coach hat on, how do you coach teachers to set up those type of environments as well?
Going back to, you have to know your audience. You have to know who you're serving, who your clientele is, what country do they come from, what language do they speak, what barriers do they have, where are they academically. Put together like a baseline of where you're at so you know where you need to go. So for example, right now we have a very heavy Spanish speaking population in our school. That is something that I'm currently trying to learn, and they are graciously teaching me. I'm not sure if it's all the cuss words, but I do think that I've got those down. They are teaching me this. So there's a couple tools that we are using. PowerPoint Translator is a really neat tool. So as I am teaching, it's translating on the board so they can follow along. Another neat app is Microsoft Translator, and that is something that we can use in real time. And I like to do a lot of gamification of my curriculum. For example, Book It is one of the games that we play to make sure that the students are learning, and they sit together, they help each other, and it builds community as well. Another thing that, since I'm a reading teacher, I've used Immersive Reader. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. Yes,
Immersive Reader is amazing because it translates the reading into any language, and it's especially great for my students that are dyslexic because it can space the words out for them and change the color, change the font size. So just making sure, I kind of look at it like a restaurant. Here's your menu. Let's serve you what you need, and make it the best experience for you.
Most definitely. Here we go. Look, I guess that's Principal Patterson right there, right?
Yay, that's my coach. Shout out to Principal Patterson.
Yeah, she says, congratulations, Dr. Feroli. Let's see. She says, we are so proud of you and your commitment to education and leadership. Most definitely. Most definitely. All right. And we have Miss Kay Berry. She said, I'm proud of you, Dr. Feroli. You are my inspiration. So big shouts out to the love tonight. Big shout out to everybody stopping through. Most definitely. And I think you touched on it because when you think about the population that we serve, technology is the key, right? Like you say, they coming in. I'm pretty sure they probably showed you some things you never knew the Apple Watch could do. You know, I think about the phone. So when you're coming in and you're coaching teachers, you're saying, okay, we want to bring this in. And we talked about the immersive reader. Are there any other tools that you look at in building those, I guess, skills and reading skills or enhancing those experiences?
Yes. So my absolute favorite, and if you don't get anything out of tonight, I want you to write this down. It's called Magic School AI. It is amazing and it's free. And it has everything you could possibly think of to make your life as a teacher easier. So Magic School AI has translating, it has IEP generators, it has ways to text level what you're reading. It has a coach's corner. So if you're a coach, it has ways that you can put together lessons for your team. Anything that a teacher needs, it has. So Magic School AI is basically my magic trick right now.
Yeah, most definitely. And when you think about that AI, I mean, in the IEP writing, right? Because you always want to be able to put that data in and create the best goal for their student. And so these days, this AI is working miraculously. So I'm pretty sure that, man, that's a good tool. I think I will make sure we share that out. And what is it one more time?
Sure. It's called magicschool.ai. You'll love it. It's worth the admission. Yeah. If you're watching tonight, that'll save you tons and tons of time.
Most definitely. And so now, hold on, wait a minute. We got, what's that, Miss B? She says, congratulations, Dr. Feroli. All right. Big shouts out to everybody, man. And so now, in your opinion, you think about the challenges that teachers are facing and simply just being better. And so as you work inside of that building, how do you, what are some of the biggest challenges that you've seen facing educators inside of your school? And then also as you move around, and what are some of the ways that you're coaching teachers to address those?
Teacher retention is hard. It's hard. It's like one of the things that I would like to see is removing some of the barriers to maintaining your teaching certificate, to obtaining a teaching certificate, to once you do have this teaching certificate and you want to focus on your class, you can't because you have all these other meetings that you have to go to and all these other requirements that you are mandated to take. So it's like 2 to 3 jobs all in one. So I would think maybe removing some of those barriers to help keep our teachers in the classroom would be beneficial, especially in the role that I have. I see how inundated they are with everything that they're required to do. And it is a lot. And to say that, I am glad and I am grateful that I'm in the position to help these teachers, but there are a lot of teachers at a lot of schools that do not have that one-on-one support, and they're drowning and they need that support. So I would say just removing the barriers as much as possible for teachers to be in the classrooms and to stay in the classrooms.
Yes, it's so real. In my district, we have what we call associate teachers. And so they have their degree. And so they're able to come in on that 1 year contract as long as they're already registered for their certification program, And so it's like, okay, usually it's going through. How does it go? Like you'll go through your alternative certification program and then you'll go take the test. So you've already had a little experience. And so now it's kind of different because you don't have any experience, but you got your degree and you're interested and you're enrolled. And so it's like starting from ground zero. Do you all have any programs like that where you kind of just getting teachers who are fresh into the field?
Yeah, so we have a program called it's ACP, which is an alternative certification program for educators that are coming into our district from a different profession or field. They're getting their pedagogy classes out of the way. And this is definitely something that I'm able to assist them with. But again, not all schools have that. We also have a teacher induction program and a teacher onboarding program. And most of these courses are on Canvas and they're self-guided modules. But let's be honest, self-guided modules, they do what they do, but they're not a teacher. So one of the things I always tell my teachers is please go into other classrooms, learn from the best. We have so many experts on our campus, such an amazing amount of teachers. Learn from them. Even the veteran teachers, I encourage them. Like, I'm a veteran teacher. I do not know everything. Let me go into a new teacher's room and learn something. Humble yourself. Learn from the best. Learn from each other. That's how we grow as a professional.
Most definitely. And like you said, when you stop learning, hopefully you're dead. That was kind of graphic, but true. All right. So now, as we get ready to wrap this up, because I want to get into our rapid fire too, and make sure we get enough time. Thinking about the future of education. You just got the doctorate. Now you have this information. Shout out to one of my friends, Dr. Snow. He is the CEO of the Transformational Leaders Network. But when you think about your goals and aspirations for the future of education, you got the doctorate, you know more about what's going on in the buildings. How do you plan to contribute that positive change in our field?
So with that question, I recognize my capacity. I know what I'm able to do and what I'm not able to do. I know I'm not able to save the world, but I can save the world that's in my classroom. And what I mean by that is let me make that world a better world. So, and let me take that outside of the classroom and bring it into the hallways of my school. And let me make that school a better school. And so I think it really just starts with being a good human being. Let me be a good human being and pay it forward. And hopefully they'll pay it forward. So that goes with knowing what I'm capable of doing and what I'm not capable of doing. And I am capable of being a nice person. And that's something that I'm going to share with whoever I come into contact with.
Yes. And then as you look at students or teachers that are looking to improve their skills in teaching, reading comprehension, teaching literacy, what advice would you give them to start turning and moving the needle of those students in their classroom?
Ask questions. Ask questions. You're not on an island by yourself. No one expects you to know everything all the time. No one expects you to be perfect all the time. Go into other teachers' classrooms. Ask questions. Have someone come into your room. One of the things that I do, I film myself teaching. And the reason, and it's uncomfortable, but I can go back and look and see, I need to improve in this area. I think that once we realize that, you know what, we're not alone. We have help out there. We have technology that can help us. Let's take advantage of that. And so for any new teachers, I just want you to know you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be available. Ask questions and let people help you.
Most definitely. All right. Well, I think that'll do it What we'll do, we'll take a break. Awesome information. I always look at sharing those sound bites and being able to kind of get the information out. And so great advice for someone looking to be able to serve better, right? Just ask questions, be involved, be available, right? I read something earlier today. It says you can't win today without focusing on today, right? So just being there. Okay, let's take a quick break. And when we get back, rapid fire, baby.
Go hard, or go home. Go home. Go hard, or go home.
Okay, here we go. Doc, don't think about it, just react to it. Now, my friends tell me this when we're in the weight room. It's like 350 pounds on my chest. Don't think about it, just react to it. I want you to keep that same energy right now. Okay. 10 questions. We're going to go through them. We learned a lot about you in the classroom, your instructional coach. Now let's learn about Dr. Feroli, the person. Now,
the pressure.
What's your favorite book? Hey, what's the favorite book you've read recently?
I'm kind of How the Brain Learns. I like this book.
Look, we'll talk about in the parent-teacher corner. We're talking about growth mindset tonight. So that is perfect. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be?
I like Tom Hanks. I think he's a cool actor.
Okay, let's go, big. All right, coffee or tea?
I like both, but if I have to choose, I'm going to go with a flavored blackberry mango tea from Chili's.
Talk about specifics. Okay. All right. What is your go-to stress reliever?
Sleep.
Hey, look. You always look. I promise you right now, when we get off, I'm gonna take a nap. I think I'm gonna take a nap. All right, early bird or night owl? And I think I know the answer.
I want to know what you think.
I'm gonna say early bird.
Yes, I'm an early bird unless it's the weekends.
Yeah. Well, plus high school. What time do y'all take in?
So I get there at 7:45.
Yeah, see, we rolling out. That means you got to be up like 5 or something. Okay. Well, what's your favorite hobby outside of work?
I like white tints because white tints equal fun arts and crafts that I will not find anywhere else.
Whoa, wait a minute. White tints. What's that? You gotta break that down.
So, like when you're driving down and you see all these white tints and there's like a festival.
Okay, there we go. Look, I'm with you on that. Let's go in here and find something that we would never see anywhere else. I love festivals. We're getting ready to gear up for one in a few weeks. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
That's a hard question, but I think to heal.
Okay, that was deep. Yeah, a friend of mine said he just wanted to fly. I was like, all right, man, thank you. Beaches or mountains?
Beaches. I am from Fort Walton Beach, which is a small beach town, and there's something about a beach that just makes you feel free.
Most definitely. Now, this is the one right here. Last question. What is your guilty pleasure TV show?
My guilty pleasure TV show. Can I say it? Sons of Anarchy.
Okay. See, I told y'all. Look, we just talked to Dr. Feroli. She talked all about being nice, being bubbly. But at the end of the day, she just want to come home and watch people on motorcycles be a little violent. Big shouts out to you, Dr. Feroli. All right, y'all. That is our educator rapid fire section. I hope that you enjoyed that. Like I said, we always like to do a little bit more just to learn more about the guests because I like to humanize us, right? You think about when you're going out and kids see you at the store and they be like, oh, you shop at Walmart? Like, yeah. Has it ever happened to you?
Oh, yes, because where I work, they all work. So I'll be going through like Chick-fil-A. Hey, Miss Feroli. I'm like, hey, Target. Hey, Miss Feroli. Hey, Walmart. Miss Feroli. Hey.
He was like, oh, God. Yeah, I remember when I was doing elementary, man, and I would see my kids in there. I tried to run, but 7 couldn't wait. They would always sniff me out. It was like, Mr. Thomas. All right, so big shouts out to you. What we'll do, we'll take a break, and then I want to come back and get more into our parent teacher corner. All right, y'all. So we will be right back. All right, so tonight's Parent Teacher Corner, we're discussing the importance of fostering a growth mindset in children. So that's why I said that book was so important. Growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. And so in this, I have 5 quick tips that I want to share with parents because remember, it's all about giving, right? And so having something to take away. And any one of these, Doc, if you feel it and you want to kind of add to it, please jump in and share. So in the first one, as we get ready to develop that growth mindset, we want to make sure that we are praising effort. So instead of focusing solely on the outcomes, we want to praise children for their effort and persistence in tackling those challenges, right? For number 2, we want to embrace mistakes. I think having that growth mindset is also that famous quote that says like I didn't learn how to stop, or I just learned what didn't work, and now we just keep going when I make those mistakes. So teach children that mistakes are a natural part of the learning process and an opportunity for growth and improvement. Next, number 3, we want to set goals, right? Encourage children to set realistic goals and celebrate progress along the way. That kind of puts me in the mind frame of what you said. I know that I cannot save the world, but having that realistic goal, I can affect the community in which I serve and I live. So all about setting those goals. Next one is providing that feedback. Offer constructive feedback that focuses on areas for improvement and suggest strategies for overcoming those obstacles. And number 5, which is the important one for me, model that resilience, right? Demonstrate resilience in the face of setbacks and show children it's okay to fail as long as they keep trying. What do you have to say about that, Doc?
I agree with all of those. I think that modeling resilience is huge. And a lot of times our students are like, what am I going to do once I'm done with school? And just being able to share with them all their different opportunities and that they're not limited to one path is important. So the resilience is huge.
Yes. All right. Let's see. I think, in the elementary school, we did so much. You think about having those avid strategies and just giving kids those tools, right? But then coming back and then we did full information, full lineups. We had growth mindset posters all over the campus. We really honed in on that. And so as I get to high school, I'm starting to see some of my kids that I taught in 4th grade, and we're able to have conversations about what that growth mindset looks like, how have they been applying it, and sometimes I have to reignite that passion in them and that knowledge. Do you all do any kind of work with that inside of your district?
Yes, working very closely with students. Just recently, we started a student club where their voices are amplified. So we have students come in and share what they think is necessary to improve the school, to improve the school culture, and what they're willing to contribute because they're part of the school culture. So amplifying student voices within the environment is a big deal, and giving them the opportunity to share their thoughts and their ideas also empowers them.
Most definitely. All right. So just to wrap that up, by instilling the growth mindset in children, we empower them to embrace challenges, to learn from their failures, and ultimately reach their full potential. So together, let's cultivate a culture of growth and resilience in our classrooms and in our homes. And so that is our Parent Teacher Corner. I hope that teachers and parents are able to use that because we know how important that ride home is and all of the conversations that take place during that. And so as you're getting ready to grow, have those kids kind of go through that day, talk about their wins, talk about their losses, and then frame those to show them that Tomorrow is a new day. You learn that this didn't work. Come back tomorrow and get it in. All right. So we about to wrap that up. And then we'll come back. But first, we got K Berry. Look, she showed more love for you, Doc. All right. One more quick break. When we come back, we have our educator spotlight. We will highlight some teachers. Doc, I'm gonna need you to highlight some of these teachers down here in Florida. We gotta give them their flowers while they still here, Doc.
Absolutely.
All right. So, hey, one quick break, and then we will come back and we'll get it.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the
All right, tonight's educator spotlight. Let's do it. Look, is it just me, or did that young lady with the puffs, did she look like she's the real kid in that class? Like it could just go down in elementary class here. Oh my God. All right, so tonight's educator spotlight. We are celebrating Mr. Quadre Alfred Leonard. Quadre Alfred, I'm sorry. He is in Leonard Elementary. And that is Katy ISD, which is the ISD here in Houston. Well, it's in Katy, I guess. I'm sorry. But it's still Houston. All right, so he's a second grade teacher. God bless Mr. Alfred. That second grade, I supervised K through 2. I know how real it is. He was nominated by his colleague, Ms. Liz Harden. So big shouts out to Liz. She's cool. All right. So Mr. Alfred is a constant ray of sunshine on our campus. He lifts up his students and peers with his positive attitude and smile. Every time I see him, it makes my day. I appreciate his dedication in building supportive relationships on our campus. And her personal message to Mr. Alfred was, thank you for always smiling and radiating joy. Oh, man. What do you think about that, Doc?
I think from just hearing that, he's a difference maker. He's changing the trajectory of these students' lives and also his colleagues. They respect him. They appreciate him and his talent and his expertise. And I just keep up doing what you're doing because you're doing something right. You're making a difference. Yeah. And so thank you for your commitment to this field. It is necessary. You are doing important work. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Most definitely. Now, when you think about the dissertation, you think about the work and the research. Did you run across leaders who were like that was one of their highlights? They were able to go in. I think about sometimes I used to come to work on Sundays, right? And I would just write handwritten notes and just go put them on teachers' desks when they come in on Monday. Did you see a lot of that moving the needles in school culture?
Yes, just being present. The wonderful thing about going through the dissertation process is it helps you stop, take a pause, reflect, evaluate, and then do something about it. So being able to go through this process on my site, I was able to go ahead and meet with these teachers, talk with these teachers. And I'm very big into, I'm going to celebrate you. You're getting a birthday card. You're getting a thank you for covering my class card. You're going to know that I care. And so I think having this research, especially with the transformational leader, that's something that I strive to be, seeing the impact that it has on a school and the change that it can produce, help me be a better teacher, a better instructional leader. And that's something that I'm thankful for.
Yeah. When you think about that, I think going through that process and just being able to do that study is so awesome. So I will say, put you in the hot seat. You just got your school and transformational leader. What are the first 3 things that you would do as that transformational leader of that new school?
I'm meeting with every single teacher. I want to know, what are your thoughts? What's working? What's not working? What do you suggest? Because I'm coming in there. And they're already there. So I want to build that trust and that relationship right off the bat. I'm having a parent meeting just for the parents. Town hall meeting. I want to meet your parents. I want to talk to you. I want you to know my vision for your children, for this school. Let's make it happen. And then I'm meeting with the students. I want the students to know who I am as a person. I want them to be able to trust me, relate with me. When they see me walking in the hallways, I want them to know that I care. So my first 3 priorities are parents, students, teachers. That's what I'm doing.
Man, sound like you already got a little 30, 60, 90 plan written out over there, Dr. Feroli. What's happening over here? I rolled off a little easy. We got to make that happen. Let's go. This bro count. All right. So now we'll take a quick break and then we'll come back. We'll kind of wrap up and get our final thoughts before we close this out. So y'all gonna get this book one more time because it's out in these streets.
You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the...
Look, kttv.com. Make sure you go check the book out. And I'll sign it myself. I'll do stuff. Like I have signings. Okay. All right. Just trying to get it out there, Dr. Feroli. Look. I want to thank you tonight. Yes.
I'm getting your book.
Hey, thank you so much. Look, I promise we got the bundle. I'll send everything to you signed up. It's really, when you think about books that are readers, it's a reader because I start out with the story because you always want to make it relatable. You want to make it real life. And I want you to say, hey, my classroom is like this, or maybe my classroom is not like this, and I need to do something. But then after that, we go into strategies for what it looks like, strategies for improving it, right? So all just a tool that I wanted because I wanted teachers to really reflect and really think about their practices that they use with our young minority males. So thank you for that. I'll be looking for that order now, Doc. Don't be playing with my emotions. All right. So as we get ready to close out, are there any final words, final thoughts that you have for aspiring educators, aspiring reading teachers, or I guess now after the dissertation, any school leaders?
Yes. So the work that we do is extremely important. And I do want to leave you with this. Sometimes you're at a school and it's not your fit. That doesn't mean that it's not you. Sometimes we need to go to a different environment to shine because there is fire in us. That is why we are teachers. Take your light and shine where you're appreciated. Don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on your craft. Don't give up on your area of expertise because others cannot see it. Please go to another school and shine there. Stay with the profession. It is worth it.
Most definitely. In other words, sometimes you got to go away and make a comeback. Hey, that's it now. All right, Dr. Feroli, I want to say thank you for the work. And so now, is there any place that, let's say people want to know more about the dissertation, more about you? How can they find you, reach out to you?
I am on LinkedIn. Thank you for tagging me in some of your features. In LinkedIn, I am Kimberly C.F. That is where you can find me.
Look, she still got the modest part. That's Dr.
Yeah,
Kimberly. See, I got you. Cut it out now. All right, y'all. Well, I want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in tonight, everybody that shouted out Dr. Kim. Awesome work, and congratulations again for the defense, for getting that title. Trust me, I know how real it is. So big shouts out to you and congratulations. All right.
Thank you.
Most definitely. Looking forward to what happens next. If there's nothing else, now, everybody, put your head down. We're gonna do our benediction. No, I'm just playing. We're not finna pray. All right, but we're about to get out of here, y'all. So once again, big shouts out to everybody that tuned in. I appreciate you all. I love the feedback. I look forward to sharing these clips with the audience. Now, it's time for me to go take that nap. This is KT for KTTV signing out. 100.
This is Darnell with Broadcast Houston.
This is Dr. Tamara Beckford.
Hey, this is Candace.
This is London Underwood.
This is Kirsten Bass with Inner City Greens, and you're watching.
Y'all are now tuned in to
KTTV.
KTTV.